So we booked this show on July 11th of last year. It's almost been a year. And it was Duckbeak, a hardcore band, Home for the Day, a pop punk kind of dad rock band, a War to Win, like a melodic metal band, and Def Andrews, a like indie, very poppy, very, easygoing band, and me, a rapper. Total wonky bill, and so many people came, and nobody let the volume in the place go below 100 decibels the whole night.
Dang.
When you've got the small club atmosphere and you can crowd surf, like, stop it. Stop it. That was just unbelievable. And to know that, like, we haven't been allowed to do this for a year and a half now, and like you come back to that, like, we can do anything. Nothing can stop us.
Dude.
And the Seneca debut show was billed as a hiatus show for Atticus Lane, and it was one of those things, like, I tried to hype it up, and I did every little tactic and technique that I could to get people in the building. And I'm very proud to say that a rapper sold out a punk venue.
That's awesome.
But we put together a hell of a bill. There was a local band that said they just weren't interested. And that was one of those, like, there's a big Lay's chip right here.
I'm going to remember that, bro.
But we had these bands take a chance on us. Some of them friends, some of them, new to me. And they really believed in the idea, and we sold it out and had just a blowout of a show. I've never had more fun in my life. And like I said, it was one of those things, it was the worst kept secret. Everybody knew it was going to be the last time, at least for a long time, that we're going to be hearing some of these songs. But a lot of people knew what was brewing and what was coming. And, we messed up a million times, and God, I blew my voice out after the first song. But when you've got 170 plus people throwing themselves at one another, and they're giving you energy and you give it back, and then they freaking Rocket League it and bounce it back off you. There's The Rock in wrestling talks about electricity. That's the only way I can feel to describe it. I'm getting like goosebumps, talking about
dude.
it. It's only 170 people. I'm not selling out these big stadiums. Who cares?
Well,
it's this feeling. Everybody synced up that night on one wavelength. It didn't matter what anybody was, because there was so many people of like a hip hop background, so many people of a punk background, so many just friends of mine. There was such a diverse, widespread show, and we all came together to throw ourselves at one another and appreciate each other. And like, that's what it was all about. And that's what Seneca's all about. It's about finally doing the things that you always wanted to do, but we're a little bit too scared to make the jump.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and don't discount, like, can't discount 170 people. That's still a huge crowd. Like,
hey, man, they turned a few people away.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I mean, the thing that's awesome about it is it's just like, when you start looking at individuals and like seeing the support and the motivation and the emotional connection and it's like a family, kind of like we were talking about before, right? It just kind of feels different, because one of the things that I've always had a hard time with when I go to really big shows is sometimes the bands aren't able to make it feel cohesive, right? Because in spite of all of the bands fitting that bill together really well, sometimes when you've got too many people, too much going on, it just you don't feel that raw cohesive emotion that, right? Sometimes you do. There are a lot of times where bands have just killed it, but there are times where I go and I'm just like, it kind of fell on its face a little bit. And so when you talk about the fact that you did so many different genres in one show and still kept it cohesive, that means that there was more than just the music happening, right? There was a lot of camaraderie and friendship and excitement, and there was just that energy is very, like, you can feel it. It's not something that you can really fully explain how you feel it, but you do. It's almost like sound waves where you're like, I know that they're there, and I just can't prove that they're there. I can, you know what I mean?
it's the harmonic. It's human beings, whether you want to believe it or not, we're telepathic. We can look at each other and hear the same joke in our head. And when we go to a show, we all sync up, and I'm not really one for spirituality or anything like that, but that is one thing I truly do believe. When you go to a show and you're all hearing the same thing, you're all processing the same thing, you're all feeling that energy. It's like a synchronization, and it feeds energy to the band or artist, which feeds energy back to you. It's like feedback in a guitar. It just keeps going, you know?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And that was one of those things that you didn't fully or appreciate necessarily until COVID hit and you didn't have it. And you realized when you're watching a live show, you could see all this amazing, like some really, really well put together shows. Some bands were doing some really cool stuff, but it was just missing that. It was missing, you know, there was just that, because even when you would watch old school, like live, you know, DVD recordings of a show, you had the band, you had the crowd there, so you could kind of feed off that energy still. But with these COVID performances, you didn't have anything. It was just like the song ended, and it was just like, it felt so empty. And it was tough because, like I said, some of the performances were freaking incredible, like phenomenal performances, but it just fell. It just kind of gets this really amazing thing and then just falls on the ground. And it just kind of, it was sad. So like now with live performances back, you're like, oh, that's what it was missing. It was missing the people. It was missing that camaraderie. It's, oh man, everyone in here could believe completely different things, but we're all here for the same reason right now. And it doesn't matter what their beliefs are. We're all here to we're all here to celebrate this music. And it's like, that's freaking incredible.
No, you're absolutely right. And you know, live performance is probably the thing that drew me to music the most. Like we produce our own stuff, and I've always, not always, but since about 2018, I've produced my own music. And you know, there's a certain thrill that I get from that, from being able to take a song to the car and listen to it, and it's like, wow, I did that.
Yeah.
But you know, I try not to take too many pictures. You know, I do appreciate when, you know, photographers thankfully do an awesome job that we can't do ourselves. You know, I can't hold my own camera. And when photographers take pictures of us and we have social media posts and things for the website and et cetera, that's great. But there's a lot of things in life that I've refrained from filming and refrained from taking too many pictures of, because, you know, when you get that camaraderie and you feel that moment, sometimes the memory makes that moment even better. You know, you don't want to look at a picture and be like, oh, I had a booger hanging out of my nose. Great. you know, it's like some of these moments, they need to last forever, and they will always last forever in perfect harmony right here.
Yeah.
You know, and you're absolutely right. COVID really gave us something to appreciate, something we should have appreciated all along, something we took for granted. But, you know, now that we're here, now that we've been through the last 2 or 3 years, I really think we all appreciate it.
Yeah. It's that saying, right? You don't know what you got till it's gone. Right. That's the thing that we always got to remember. And when you were talking about, you know, being present, like, I don't know if you saw, Michelob Ultra or whatever, the at the PGA Tour, there was a picture of Tiger Woods he was driving off the tee box, and there was a guy just standing there with a Michelob Ultra, just like with his beer in his hand, just watching, and everyone around him, everyone behind him and around had cameras out, and it was this picture perfect moment of someone being in the moment, right? And so Michelob Ultra buys the photo, pays the dude and says, hey, we're going to use this as an ad. And so now they've created it just kind of like puts back in perspective, like, why were they there in the first place? They weren't there to take a picture of Tiger Woods teeing off. They were there to watch it. But they were so focused on taking the picture that they didn't watch. And they'll look at the picture and be like, oh, I didn't realize this happened or this happened. You know, they'll watch a video of it and be like, how did I not notice that? And I've seen that happen to myself where I'm like, how did I miss that when I was literally right there watching this whole thing happen? It was because I was watching a screen watch it happen, right? The camera was watching it, not me. And it's just like, that's a very different experience.
It truly is. It really and truly is. That's why I try to keep my phone. I'll when we play with bands, especially, I'll at the beginning of their set, I'll get a good chunk of the song on video as a story shout out. I'll get a really, really good picture as a story shout out. And then from that point on, sell me a shirt.
That's me, dude.
Sell me a fucking shirt. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's me, dude. Like, cause I'm on the same boat, dude. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to get some pictures right off the rip. I'm going to get that really sick intro, especially like when I'm seeing a band I love that, you know, they've got that production value. When they come out, there's always this huge production. I always want to record that initial production value. It's so cool. I always want to appreciate that. But the rest of the show, I'm like, dude, I got to just watch. I got to just appreciate it. I got to sing at the top of my lungs and ruin the song completely by me singing it instead of just letting them sing it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that is a problem I have. Yeah, that's a problem I have.